The Crane's Legend. Long ago, in a small village in the snowy mountains of Japan, there lived a young woodcutter named Yukio. He did not have much money, but he had a kind heart. He lived a simple and quiet life in a small house near the forest. On a very cold winter afternoon, as Yukio was returning home tired from his daily work, he saw a beautiful crane lying on the ground, with an arrow deeply embedded in its wing. The wounded crane, seeing the young man approaching, tried to fly again but couldn't. Yukio gently held the injured crane and took the arrow out of its wing. The beautiful crane stood beside the young man for a while to show its thanks, and then it flew up into the sky. One night, while a strong storm was blowing and snow had covered everything, Yukio heard a few soft knocks on his door. When he opened it, he saw a young and very beautiful woman, with snow on her black hair and a simple kimono on. The young woman explained that her name was Aiko and that she had lost her way in the storm. She asked Yukio to let her stay in his home until the storm was over. Yukio let Aiko come inside and welcomed her with a simple but warm meal. Since no one knew how many days the storm would last, Aiko asked Yukio to give her a room where she could set up her small weaving loom and weave cloth. Aiko also asked Yukio not to enter the room at all while she was inside weaving cloth. After a long time, the young woman came out of the room. She looked very tired and pale, holding a roll of very beautiful and soft fabric in her hands. Aiko gave the roll of fabric as a gift to thank Yukio for his hospitality. Yukio thanked her and asked Aiko to stay as his guest for a longer time. Some time later, Yukio went to the village to buy food, and he took the fabric that Aiko had given him to sell it in the market. Many buyers were amazed by the beauty and softness of the fabric, and each one tried to get it by offering a higher price. Yukio sold the cloth to the highest bidder, earning far more than he ever made from selling firewood. He used the money he had earned to buy plenty of food, some expensive clothes, and also a few valuable gifts for Aiko. It didn't take long for the fame of Aiko's woven fabric to spread across the nearby villages and towns, and many merchants came to Yukio's home asking to buy the cloth. They raised their offers so much for the fabric that Yukio couldn't resist, so he asked Aiko to weave another piece just like it for him. Aiko, heartbroken by Yukio's request to weave a new cloth and by the greed she felt had overtaken him, asked him to leave her alone in the weaving room and not to enter again while she was weaving. This time, the weaving was taking a very long time. Midnight had already passed, and the sound of the loom, which had been strong and steady at first, was now soft and uneven. Yukio walked nervously around the living room. He felt upset for letting greed control him, and at the same time, he was worried about Aiko and what was happening behind the closed door. For a while, Yukio struggled with the temptation to see what was happening inside the room, but eventually, he decided to secretly take a look, breaking the promise he had made to Aiko. Yukio was filled with wonder and fear at what he saw. In place of Aiko, the same injured crane was weaving the enchanted cloth. Each time, she gently plucked one of her white feathers and laid it onto the warp and weft instead of using ordinary patterns. With every feather she placed, the cloth grew even more dazzling and magical, as if each feather carried a piece of her very soul. Suddenly, the beautiful crane noticed Yukio's astonished gaze, and in the very next moment, it was Aiko who, with eyes filled with exhaustion and sorrow, faded from his sight and flew up toward the sky.